Well, Fitin10, it is day 59, 11 days to go, a billion degrees out, even though it's only like 7:30 a.m. here. And hopefully we'll survive today, because today's supposed to be like, 58 degrees or something like that. Something ridiculous, and that's Celsius, by the way. Not that hot, but I think 40 or something like that. So let's get to more of your feedback. By the way, I will be setting up the calendar. The Calendly, I can't think right now because it's quite warm here. Already, I think my car said it was 31 degrees. It's driving back from the gym this morning at 7 a.m. said it was 31 degrees. Anyways, more of your feedback. Calendly link. Before I get to your feedback, Calendly link will be up hopefully today, if I can, if my fingers will work on the keyboard as it, gets sweltering hot here. I may just try to go work somewhere cool, like a mall or something. Are malls even open? I guess they're open, right? That'd be a place to go. Anyways, Calendly link should be up this week. Should be up today, okay? All right, more of your feedback here. Is there anything you'd like me to cover in this week's video series? I'm sorry, I'm still going back a couple weeks here. This person writes, yes, start every day with your nutritional goals, but if I mess up and say I have too many carbs in the morning, do I still try to target my macro, I think probably macro number, I think they meant to say, for fat and protein, even though this will mean going further out of range for my carbs? Okay, so this is a good question. But it doesn't mean that you go out of range for your carbs. You could just eat fat and protein, right? So you could just eat sources of food which are just fat and protein if you want to. Of course, these foods are going to be very, very limited. So that wouldn't necessarily mean the case, but your overall calories are going to be too high. So I would probably reduce your fat. So I would try to go just, protein and eat less carbohydrates. Eat less fat. Okay, so just fat and protein and eat less fat, okay? I know you're likely repeating yourself in this one, but it's not sinking in for me yet. Also, see the above hydration question. Also, when it's a billion degrees, are added hydration salts necessary or helpful? Or coconut water in lieu of just drinking water. Okay, coconut water is actually really good because it's got the same salt proportion as what you find in blood plasma, so like what you find in your bloodstream essentially. So coconut water is really, really good for this. I add in some pink salt. This is high in a lot of the salts. But just to answer your question here, yes, these salts that your body need, these electrolytes, yes, I would definitely add them in. You're losing these when you're sweating, okay? Okay. This person writes, name something specific you need help with. Okay, actually, name something specific you can improve on for the following week. I'll be doing another weight class this week. Okay, I'm not sure if you're doing like a fourth, or you mean you're not doing your 3? I think you're doing your 3. I always see this person in for 3. So I'm not sure. You can't do a fourth, by the way. You can do an extra online class, but you can't do an in-person class, right? Because we limit it to 3. Name something specific you need help with. How do I start to add more weight? Try to add more weight, reps, stick with the full set. Okay, so I went through this a couple videos ago, maybe a week or 2 ago. How do I start to add more weight? Okay, so again, let me just reread this. Try to add more weight and do less reps, or stick with the one that I can do full sets with. So what I would do in your case, I know what you're saying here. You can't move up in weight. So you're saying like, if I can't move up in weight and get the reps, what do I do? Do I do more reps with the lighter weight? Okay, so it depends on how far out you are, okay? So if you're still struggling to get the reps in with the current weight, then just stick with that weight. If you can do all the sets with that increased weight. So let's say, we're doing 5 sets of 8 on chest press. Your last 2 sets, you can get 5 sets of 8 with this, whatever certain weight it is. Let's just say it's 25 pounds. But if you go to 30, it's going to be too much. You can't get 8 reps. I would still go to 30 and do what you can do, okay? So I would go to 30 and try to do 4, okay? And then let's work on building that. So my suggestion would be, like, by your 4th set, go to 30 pounds and let's try to replicate maybe say 4 reps with that, or whatever number you could replicate for 2 sets. Okay, so for your last 2 sets, if you could get 4 for sure, then do 4. If you could get 5, let's do 5s. Okay, and then work with that. Okay, you will get stronger. Okay. Is there something you'd like to... Okay, so I'm not going to read some of these that there's really nothing to be read. This person writes, is there anything you'd like me to cover in this week's video series? Do 40 minutes of uninterrupted posing without commentary to intimidate the group. Okay. All right. So like you want me to do like a bicep posing here, or maybe it's a lat spread, or like a most muscular. I mean, I got my shirt off, might as well. Additional comments or questions? Loving it more. Okay, thank you very much. That's great. It's great that you're loving it. Name something specific you need help with, not injuring myself. All right, listen, if your form is good, so when you train, right, just a reminder for you, when you're training with weights, this is especially for those of you who are in my lift camps, those are the in the gym classes, we are trying to do basically as much weight as we can within the rep range that I give you, with good form and tempo and control, right? This is very, very important. So sometimes you can get the reps in, but it might be a little bit messy, and you may not be really tight with your tempo. You might be dropping the weights down, and then just so you could try to get another rep in, because if you go slower on the way down, the muscles are going to do more work. So this is the type of stuff we want to stay away from, right? We always want control. We want good tempo. We want to be able to get all those reps, and we want to be able to, unless of course, it's a situation like I just talked about in the question prior to this with trying to move up in weight. But technique, form, tempo, control, these are all very, very, very important, okay? These are paramount, and you don't want any of these to break, okay? Especially your form. All right, that entry got repeated here. Name something specific you can improve on for the following week. I will drink 10 glasses of water each day. I will start each day off with 2 glasses of water. Before I even have my morning coffee, I will measure out 10 glasses of water and put them in the container in the fridge so I can visually see how much I'm drinking. Okay, this is great. I like this. I'll stretch my quads and hamstrings twice a day, morning and night, for 6 minutes each session. Okay, this is very good. I like this. Here are some goals. So this is either you do this or you don't, right? If you just say like, oh, I'm gonna do more steps in the week. Okay, like how many more? You've always got to give yourself something that you can own up to, and basically it's like a pass or fail, right? Did you do it? No, you didn't. Okay, that's fine. Let's not harp on it that you didn't do it. But at least maybe we want to scale back what you're trying to set forth for yourself. If you're not able to do it, scale it back. Okay, are you able to do it? Yes, no. Okay, yes. Okay, great. Now let's try to build on that, right? We just want to have some targets that we can be accountable to, right? And if we can't be accountable to them, let's, as I said, scale them back. Let's do something that's going to be easier for you. Name something specific you need help with. I'm at 9 minutes, really? Okay. Military presses are still harder for me. I think it was the front squat, bending back our hands and letting the barbell rest on our fingers. That was definitely a challenge for me. I found myself concentrating on the grip more. Military press is still hard for me. So a couple things that I want to remind you with when you're doing these overhead presses: glutes tight, abs tight, so that we neutralize the spine. Okay, we take that pressure off of the lower back. Okay, this will make a big difference if you squeeze your glutes, right? You create some posterior tilt of the hips. And of course, pull the belly in tight. Also, one thing with the military press that I notice with people is they don't press overhead, they press forward. So we want to make sure that we press up and overhead. Okay. I'll maybe get to the front squat thing tomorrow. Okay. All right, let's get to the message of the day. All right, I'm going to go with this one today, even though I've been kind of putting this one off because I felt like maybe it might be a bit much for some people, but this is just the reality for the most part, okay? I mean, we can't help everything that happens to us, but for the most part, you know, it is all your fault. It is all your fault. It's your fault for where you are today, okay? Not good or bad, okay? That means, you know, you have control over your life. You largely have control for where you are. I'm not saying you have control of absolutely everything, but you certainly have control over the choices that you make. And a lot of where we are today stems from the choices that we've made, right? So now listen, you know, we live and learn, and there's many things that I look back on in my past. I'm like, I probably could have done that differently. Of course, I know that from the choices that I made. The point is here that know that you always have the choice to change the future. At least to some degree you do, all right? And this is very, very important because the reality is you do have the capacity to make change for yourself, right? You do have that capacity. So remember this when you feel like you don't. Remember this when you feel like you just want to give up. All right? And, you know, a reminder to you, the only way you can really fail in anything you do is just to give up. Okay? So you are where you are. Largely speaking, I will say 90% speaking for the choices you made. If you want to make change in your life, this is just coming, you know, for what it's worth, this is coming from my own experience. Just pick one thing, maybe two things, and try to change them and work on those things, depending on how big they are. You know, if it's a really big goal, then maybe you need to break that goal down into smaller steps. Work on one thing, try to improve upon it, you know, and you know, most importantly, be honest with yourself, right? It's all your fault. Sorry to say, but that's also a good thing too, right? Because again, we have control over you know, most of the things that happen to us in our life. We have control over this. We have control over the choices we make. We have a lot of control over our destiny. All right. Positive energy, positive vibes. Believe in yourself. For the love of God, give some gratitude. I'll talk to y'all very soon. See you guys.